Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to my channel and welcome to the Costa Blanca in Spain. I hope you're well wherever you are. So today I thought I'd give you a little update on my first week of living in Spain. I hesitated then because I don't know whether I'm actually living here yet. I'm still staying in an Airbnb and still trying to sort out all sorts of things concerning where we live. But anyway, I'll talk about that in a moment. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about the last few days that we spent in England before we came here, the first week we've had here and what we've been up to, and maybe a little bit about what we're planning to do in the next few weeks, although to be honest there's quite a lot of uncertainty around all of that, so I might struggle a bit to tell you what our plans are for the next few weeks, but I'll give it a try. Our last week in England was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, as you can imagine. We said goodbye to Teignmouth in Devon, which was rather sad, but it all went smoothly. We had friends help us carrying all our boxes down to our hire van. We've done this so many times over the last few years that we're getting quite used to it now, but it's still quite an emotional experience and it's hard work. But I quite like the physical exercise actually, and I feel quite good that I'm still able to do that. So we loaded up the van and did 2 trips over to Bournemouth with the van still full of stuff, put everything into storage there because that's near where my daughter lives, and we thought, well, it's better to make that our UK base, if you like, from now on. So then we had a long weekend in Bournemouth. It was a bank holiday weekend and the weather was a bit like this. It was sunny and beautiful, and obviously it made us wonder, are we doing the right thing? Because the beaches at Bournemouth are wonderful, the restaurants and the bars are fantastic. And we got to meet up with some of my daughter's friends and her boyfriend and all of his family. And so we got a little taste of her life, which was wonderful for us, and we felt really at home there. Actually, we just loved it, and so that made it quite difficult to leave. But obviously we did. So we flew out on the Tuesday morning after the bank holiday with our 6 suitcases and made our way here. And now we're checked in an Airbnb. And yeah, it's been quite tough at times. There's been moments where we've wondered what on earth we're doing. Did we do the right thing? Even if we made a massive mistake. But then we remember, hang on, we've only been here for 1 week. Let's not expect too much from our first week here. And actually, there's quite a lot we've achieved. So I'll talk a little bit about that to you, so that I can feel a little bit better about myself and feel a little bit better about our situation. Okay, but I'll do that when I'm walking down to the beach, because my wife has gone down there for a swim. So I'll take you on a little stroll with me and talk to you a little bit about what we've been up to. Okay. So the first thing we achieved in this last week was actually getting here. Well, I know that doesn't sound like much of an achievement, but believe me, it was. And perhaps the biggest part of that achievement was actually getting our bags up into our Airbnb apartment. So, as I said, we had 6 overweight, oversized bags, and we had to carry them up these steps. So I've just started coming down now, and I hope you can see just how steep it is. Absolutely, this is absolutely exhausting trying to go up and down these steps, I tell you. And it's like having a proper workout every day, but doing it with all these cases was really difficult. And I'm not sure whether you can see behind me how far we've come already, but they're steep stone steps. Ow! Bloody hell, what have I done then? So probably on the video this won't look much, but trust me, going up and down these is a real challenge. Okay, there we are. Yeah, so that's the first thing we did. We got here, and that involved all the moving of the stuff from Teignmouth to Bournemouth, getting taxis to the airport, getting flights, getting to this place, getting our luggage in, and all the boxing up and all the decisions we made about what possessions to keep, what to throw away, what to sell, what to put into storage. So yeah, and what to put into storage and what to bring to Spain. So all the logistics of that were really challenging, but we did it, and so that's something to be pleased about and something to be proud of and something to be grateful for. So it's nice to remember that. The second thing we've done is we found someone to help us because we realised we couldn't do this on our own. And this lady and her son have so far been excellent and really helped us with lots of the administrative things that need to be done. And with her help, what we've managed to do today is to get our NIA, if that's how you pronounce it. If you're Spanish speaking, please tell me if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's an NIE, and you need this number to be able to do almost anything here in Spain. Things like opening bank accounts, getting a phone contract, renting a property, anything, you need this number. By the way, this is the tram station where we've been coming to at least once a day. Fantastic tram line runs all along here. It goes from Alicante, which is just south of here, all the way up past Benidorm and to a place called Denia, I think it is, yep. And it's really good, and it's very, very cheap. I think we're paying, we got a little card which cost us €2 and we topped it up with 30 trips. And goodness me, I think it's only about €15 for the 30 trips, so it's probably about 50 cents per trip. And with that, you can go all the way into Alicante or to El Campello, and yeah, lots of other places. So that's something else to be grateful for. So we've got our NIE number, we've got our tram card. We've looked at about 4 properties so far. None of them have been suitable, but at least we've begun that process, and we've contacted lots of agents, and we're starting to build a bit of a relationship with some of them. And it's quite clear that when we do find the right one, they will probably accept us because we're able to prove that we have a stable income and that our finances are in good shape and so on. So there's another thing to be grateful for. What else have we done this week? We found ourselves an international church in Alicante, so we went to that on Sunday, and I enjoyed that. My wife wasn't so sure, but she will go again. It was very different to anything we've been to before. I found it quite uplifting, quite inspiring. The singing, they had a small band on the stage, and the singers just had fantastic voices, and the musicians were good. And is it a pastor? I don't even know. It's not Church of England, so I don't know what. But the person who was doing the preaching was quite inspirational. He certainly hammered home a few messages, and I understood what he was saying and took it in, which is sometimes quite difficult with more traditional church services, I think. So sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult to interpret exactly what is meant by some of the things that you listen to, but this was really clear, and he was a great storyteller, and we met some nice people there. So that was pretty good. And then afterwards we went out in Alicante, and the restaurants there are amazing, and we found one that was perfect for us and really enjoyed it. So that was just wonderful. Great night out. Another thing we've done is we have found a wonderful cafe, and they cater for the international community, so it's English speaking, and they organise lots of events. And the one thing that we went on was a walk. So we went on a hike with people from Britain and Ireland and other countries, I think there were, but mostly Britain and Ireland were the people I met. And that was really nice to have a chat with other people who live out here. And it was reassuring as well, because they all seemed very happy here. And the only regrets they talked about was not coming here sooner in life, so that made us feel a bit better. Okay, so that's something else we've done. Anything else? Not sure. We've explored a couple of little towns around here to see whether they would be suitable for us, and we actually visited a place that we originally thought we would like to live, but decided that would not be for us, and I think it's called San Juan. Excuse me, I just don't know how to pronounce the Spanish names yet, but I mean, I liked it, but my wife wasn't so keen. But at least we've ruled a couple of places out, and we're getting more and more sure, or more and more focused on El Campello. So that's also good. But because we're struggling to find property, and finding property here is a challenge, and I'll talk about that in a minute, then we're also thinking of going further up the coast to some of the villages and smaller towns to see if we have some more luck there finding somewhere to live. So let's talk about that a moment. In one of my previous videos, someone commented that I'm not going to that Spain has a housing problem the same as Britain, and you won't find anything out here. So I thought, oh gosh, all right, yeah. And of course, I knew there was a problem out here. I'm not stupid. I did do my research before I came. The situation is that because we're approaching the summer months, then it's very difficult to get long-term accommodation at the moment, because people want to hire their flats out and their apartments out for the summer season, because then they can perhaps get, I don't know, €1,000 a week for that, whereas the rental prices on a long-term contract might only be $1,000 a month. So consequently, there's not much available until September, after the summer season. But we need something now, and we need something now because we need to be able to get our residency, primarily obviously because we want somewhere to live, but also because since Britain's left the European Union, my wife would have to leave here after 3 months if we can't get her officially registered as a resident. So we're under a time pressure here. We're being squeezed because of the 3-month rule for Brits, or for anyone who's not from the EU, and we're also running into the tourist season, the peak summer season. So that means we're very limited. We are finding places, but none of them are quite what we're looking for at the moment. So we might have to lower our standards a bit and go for something a bit less than ideal, but we will see. And some of this has caused us to have the odd moment where we thought, oh no, have we made a mistake? Have we done the wrong thing? But then I remind myself, well, we're doing what we've always wanted to do. And okay, it would have been ideal to come here in October, but we were actually thrown out of our UK rented accommodation. You know, the owner of our previous property decided to sell up and therefore needed us out of the house, and we had no choice, we had no say in that. So the exact timing of this is not down to us, it's down to circumstances, and we're going to try our best to make this work for us, and yeah, we'll see what materialises. But you know what it's like when you make a big change in your life and the new situation becomes very, very challenging, then it's natural for us to start thinking, should we just go back to where we've come from? Things were much more easy and comfortable back where we came from. What should we do that? You know, and we're having to battle against those kind of negative thoughts at the moment. I wouldn't say they're a problem all the time. You know, there have been moments during this last week where I've thought to myself, wow, I am so lucky. This is amazing. This is what it means to be alive. And for the first time in quite a long time, we are living life to the full. We're living the dream. And that's wonderful when you have those moments, and then some little doubt creeps in and thinks, is it right to be that happy? is that how it's supposed to be? And of course, you know, what we're going through are some highs and lows, but overall I'm loving the experience and I'm liking being here. Oh, another thing we've achieved in this last week is we survived our first Spanish storm. So I'll show you some pictures of that, but it reminded us of being back in Devon, really. Very heavy rain, thunder, and we lost our electricity for a whole day. So we thought it was the whole village that was affected by this, but it wasn't. Otherwise I would have acted sooner and perhaps we wouldn't have had to be without electric for so long. But it turned out it was just the 3 apartments on our floor in the building, and so someone came round at about 9 in the evening and fixed all that for us. But you know, that had an impact on our mood. It was raining and we had no electric, so it got dark in the apartment. We couldn't cook anything, just had to have sandwiches and things. But then we were really grateful when the electric came on and we got the internet again and we could start living a normal life. Anyway, that's it. I think those are all my updates. Not so much to tell you. I wish I could tell you more about what's going to happen in the next week or so. But honestly, our life at the moment, it's all like a massive jigsaw puzzle, and we've only got about 10% of the pieces. So most of the pieces to this jigsaw puzzle are missing, and we can't quite figure things out at the moment. And this includes all sorts of things like our residency, like our healthcare cover, like where we're going to live, having a bank account. There's so much stuff that needs to be sorted out, tax codes and all our tax affairs. So yeah, there's a whole load of stuff to sort out, but we've just got to take one small step at a time and remind ourselves that this is something extraordinary that we're doing, and have faith. That's one of the reasons I went to church. I thought, I really can't do this on my own. I need some spiritual guidance here. I need to have God on my side with this, because all sorts of things have got to come together, and there's a lot that I just can't control and can't understand at the moment. Anyway, that's enough of me waffling on. I'll post another video soon. I wanted to try and show you where we are, but I don't think it's going to work. But it's actually, I've picked a bad day for making videos, but in the distance there, just below that mountain, you might be able to see Benidorm. So that's an impressive skyline from this distance. And then if we pan around quite slowly out across the Mediterranean there, then down there you'll see those high-rise buildings, and that's, well, the first lot are El Campello, but then in the distance over there is Alicante. Anyway, that's it. Just maybe one other thing. I will probably have to rename this channel because I no longer have anything to do with Devon. So my Devon Diaries is no longer the right thing. So what I thought I'd do was have a couple of playlists. One about my time in Germany, maybe that's my German diaries. Another playlist for my Devon Diaries. Another playlist perhaps for my holidays. But overall, I'm going to have to rename the channel so that it's better aligned with what we're currently doing, and I don't know yet what I'm going to call it. But if you're following me and you notice a strange name within your list of channels that you follow, please don't unfollow me. It's just me going through a bit of a transitional phase. Anyway, I hope you're well wherever you are, and I hope you'll enjoy this next series of videos from here in the Costa Blanca. Yeah, and take care of yourselves, and we'll talk again soon then. Thank you then. Bye.